Hi, so I'm going to go through the trading sheet screen, which basically is a screen we've developed using or utilizing two main core parts of our system. One is the purchase consignment entry side, and the other is our sales order entry side. And we combine them together so that you can create on the fly very quickly your consignments, add products to those consignments, have the ability to append more than one product to that consignment. You can then set your store, haulier, and potentially your customer and purchase price and receive that all on this screen. In addition to that, you can also then auto allocate to sales orders you can create from those purchase lines. So what we're doing is we're auto populating a sales order from a lot of the information that's already set on the consignment. So we're trying to speed up the process and save the user some input. So when you load up the screen initially, the default is by a daily view. You would look at either today, yesterday, or tomorrow. There's also other date range periods you could look at as well, monthly, weekly, and a custom date range. The top section you're looking at here is the consignments, effectively your purchases. So for every purchase product line there is a new row. As you might be able to see, we've got the same consignment here with multiple product lines. So you can have more than one and be able to append more than one product purchase line to that same consignment. You can do the same with sales orders, and I'll show you those in a moment. Exactly the same principle. The lower section is those sales orders. So down below, you'll see your sales order, your consignment, customer who it's intended for, delivery date, the product description, which is all derived again from the product consignment purchase above. It'll also allocate the stock, as I mentioned before, for you, and you can nominate your haulier if you haven't set one already. With your job rate, it will automatically calculate your job rate, providing you set up rate tables accordingly to the customer's location. And you would need to set up a sales price as well to give you some sort of margin, etc., if you wanted it. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a purchase line or a couple of purchase lines and create sales orders and append a few items as well so you can see how it works. You also can produce and output the confirmations from this screen as well. So by selecting them here, you can print the confirmations and they will come out as a PDF and you can send them on. The same that's both for consignment confirmations and your sales order confirmations. You've also got the ability to export the grid as well, and I'll come to that in a moment. But basically, you can export the sales side, which is below, and the purchase side as well, all from into Excel of the view that you're looking at. And it will also take into account any grouping that you've set up. So if you're familiar with these sort of grids, again, I'll go through these, but if you were to set up some grouping like this and export it, it would come out exactly as you have kind of laid it out. Let's put that back. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to create a purchase line and fulfill it with a purchase product. But before I do, I just want to make you aware that the screen is quite dynamic and it will allow you to create or view orders and consignments from our native screens into this screen and vice versa. So if you have created sales orders and consignments, they will appear in this screen as well. Let's go through how to create a GRN. So we create a GRN, pre-populate a GRN. We select our supplier, supplier 1. And I'm going to select a product, code size. It'll pre-populate if we've got it set up in state data, the quantity per pallet, just to give you an indication. So those that are not familiar with maybe the product, got some information of how to receive, ideally, the goods. I'm going to set a price of £11 and I'm going to nominate a store where the goods are going to be, or taken to, or collected to. And I'm not going to set a customer. I could set a customer if I wanted to, but I'm not going to set a customer at the moment. I'm not sure where the stock's going to go to. I haven't decided yet. And I'm going to select my haulier. So it's going to be Mr. Haulier. Now, that's as far as that's all I really need to do. I would obviously need to receive the stock, but what I want to do now is I want to append a new purchase line onto the same consignment. So to do that, same supplier, I'll find the GRM, which is the one I've just done above. Do that, it automatically pre-populates the header line for me because it's the same as the one above. It's all done the same consignment, so you wouldn't be able to have a different supplier for the same consignment, obviously. I'm going to select a different red onion this time, or something completely different. I'm going to go 500 of them, 10 pallets. Select £12, select my store, maybe a different store this time, doesn't really matter. And I'm going to select customer there. And I'm going to create another GRN now. Let's do something separate, new supplier, different supplier, together. Two, and different products. Go for butternut squash. 330, 3 pallets, £9. Store, Healy, no customer. So I've created now 2 consignments, 3 purchase lines. I've been able to append. I've not received the stock yet, and I'm now going to receive those lines. So I'm going to click those there, and I'm going to receive that stock. Now, if I hadn't set a price, it would warn me and tell me. So there's a bit of a catch there. So you don't receive the goods. It doesn't matter if you haven't set a price, but it just helps the users in case they've overlooked it. So now we've received the stock, I can now create very quickly sales orders from the selected focus view row of my consignment. So let's say I want to use this and create a sales order. I'll select that line, then click that, and it will then create a sales order number for me. And then I'm going to select my customer. He says. As you can see, that this particular stock line didn't have a customer, so I'm able to select the customer that I want. And it's now allocated the entire stock line for me, which is the default. So I can put some of that stock back. I don't have to have the entire amount. So I'm going to just take my quantity I need. As you can see, the haulier has pre-populated from the haulier line above. I can change that if I wish to. And you can see the haulage rate's changed. All I need to do is now put my sales price in. So now this particular haulier hasn't got a surcharge set to it, but as you can see, this one has. So it's given me the surcharge total, and it's given me some sort of estimation on turnover, etc. So that's basically how you create your first sales order line. But what I want to do now, I want to select my other consignment and append that onto this same sales order. So as I was saying, what this does, we've got this button here, will then show and unlock this grid below to show me all sales. And what that will allow me to do, it will allow me now to click on any focused consignment above here, because this is actually a focused view. So this is going to show me down here the sales orders that are linked to the above consignment purchase line. So if I go back to my red onions, I'm going to click that to show all sales, and it's going to show me all my sales orders. So this is the sales order that I was on, and I want to add on some of this butternut squash onto this sales order. So now that I've unlocked that and I've selected the particular line that I want to focus on and the sales order that I want it to go to, I then click append, and then it's immediately appended that to the sales order for me, and again given me all of the stock. I can change that if I want, and I can then, now it's by default it's taken the haulier for me from the prior one. I can change this again if I wished, but I'm not going to. I'm going to now check and put my sales price in of I don't know, £23 again, and that's basically it. So now I've appended onto a sales order line and fulfilled the order. You could then do your confirmations, or you could export the information and send it off to your hauliers, grouping, hiding, filtering out those if you wanted to. Obviously these grids do have those sort of filters already in place, so you might want to use those if you wanted to export. But if you wanted to review the order in order entry, as I was saying before, you can click on the focused sales order and you can go open focused order, and that will open up the order entry screen showing you the order in its native screen. We can do the same for the consignment. Go here, open consignment, and that will open up consignment entry showing that consignment. So it's dynamic, and hopefully it will be of use and help perform some of these tasks a lot quicker for you. Thanks.